Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Five Guys on Live. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing this week?
I'm doing
the
great.
intro with everything.
I love the intro. Exactly. I loved it.
I'm glad. I do what I can when I can.
Clearly.
You did a great job.
So we took a week off to focus in on the Democratic National Convention, gentlemen, and we had a lot happen during the convention. Am I coming across clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make, if there's any delays or anything, definitely share it early in the show or in the broadcast before we go too far down the road to adjust any kind of bandwidth issues. We have a full night. Let's just jump right into all of the excitement since we missed each other last week in a formal format, although both Rodney and Vince went live on IG, and then I went live on Monday and Tuesday on our Facebook page. So we were with our fans and our followers, but just not in the same format. So I'm happy to be back. Let's go right into the heartbeat of the news with last week. DNC, the Democratic National Convention. Tonight is the beginning of the RNC. Gentlemen, what do you think about the big DNC?
From the little bit I saw, it could have came a little bit harder. But I shout out to Michelle Obama. She always delivers, and she always gives a great message and a great speech. And I loved her delivery and what she said. And I'm sure people tuned in because she has a lot of people that look up to her as a leader, as a Black woman. And everything she said was true. And I love that she was just as candid as she always is. But from the little other pieces I seen of the DNC, I feel like they could have came a little bit harder. They could have geared more to the millennials and Gen X's to get them to want to come in and vote. But that's just from the little pieces I saw of it.
For me, I felt like the DNC was a great representation of what America looks like right now. You had white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, straight, gay, millennial, baby boomer, Generation X, Generation Z. Everybody was represented through the 4 days from my vantage point. I absolutely love Kamala Harris. Kamala for the win. I think she did a great job. She delivered well on her speech. Jill Biden is a rock star. Whoever did her package, just conveying and portraying who she is, deserves an Emmy. I thought it was a really, really good, a good show. Her night, she did a great job as well. I really enjoyed Joe Biden, as well as his speech. I really like, and I wish Ryan was here because I know in earlier conversations he was very adamant about why essential workers aren't being paid, but they're always on the front line. And Joe made that pretty clear in his speech, saying that essential workers under his tenure will get paid and not just praised. So I thought that definitely stuck with me, which was very strong. I thought the moderators each night, Kerry Washington was my favorite. Tracy Ellis did a great job. Jennifer Hudson, John Legend, Billie Eilish. I thought choosing Billie Eilish was such a strong choice, especially for Generation Zers and millennials as well. I know she's been very outspoken about Trump and his policies, and she actually was doing voter registration rallies at all of her concerts on her last tour pre the pandemic. So shout out to Billie Eilish for stepping up. And I think the only low for me was night one. It was a little slow, and it seemed as if it was more anti-Trump than Biden endorsements, and I feel like even though Trump has a long rap sheet over close to 4 years of just shenanigans off of shenanigans. So they definitely did a good job at putting us in remembrance of everything that he did thus far. But that sort of stole the shine, in my opinion, away from people actually endorsing Joe Biden and conveying what Joe Biden can do for the country. So I think that could have been a better balance, and maybe it was like a 51-49. It was like neck and neck for me. But yeah, that's my vantage point.
Well, I actually loved it all. The objective of the DNC was to get rid of Trump. I really love how it included everyone, like Vince said. I feel like talk based on the IG as well. Live. Like, it included everyone. It showed what America truly looks like. America's not all white people. It's not black people. It's Asian Americans, Pacific Americans, it's Scottish Americans, it's Indian Americans, it's Spanish Americans. We're a whole melting pot. And I really do hope that message was conveyed to the people, because like we so focused on the hatred and all this other stuff. We're so divided. And I really like how DNC was trying to bring back the unity of America. I like how I focus on the healthcare. They focused very heavily on healthcare, because I did not really know. And I guess for me, just being I don't really take medicine, stuff like that. That's not a big component to me as a voting. But I have to realize that the mail and that people need their prescriptions and healthcare, because it does matter. Like that show at the last, I want to say it was the last day or the day before last, how the man was like trying to fight the healthcare. He was so sickly looking, and he was just trying to make sure America knew, like, we need healthcare. We are the richest country in America, in the world, and we suck on a lot of things. And I really do hope that Joe, what he said, he stick by what he said. I do want to say that. I'll put that out there. But as according to DNC, they did a fabulous job. I could not expect anything different. Michelle Obama, I just love that lady. And I love how, oh my God, it's Elizabeth Warren had the Black Lives Matter in her background. Did y'all catch that? Y'all catch it? Like, that was, it just focused on so much that's going on. Yes, I am gonna watch some of the RNC, because I just want to see what they're gonna talk about. But they have a lot to go for, because I feel like the DNC knocked them right out the park. Good job, Democratic National Convention.
I agree everything that you guys have said, for the most, including CJ actually. So I gave a review of the DNC every night. Page. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the RNC. So you guys, if you haven't seen that, you can go back and check that out to get more detailed opinion from me on that. But I do agree with CJ when he really does state that the DNC really should have done a little bit more to bring in voters who were not yet committed. I don't think a lot of young people who are undecided are going to go for Donald Trump, but I'm afraid they're going to just simply stay at home. There are a lot of different things and a lot of different efforts afoot to really suppress young votes and young Black votes specifically. And I'm afraid that those things really may come to fruition and may work. I don't know if the DNC was able to really bridge that gap. I also feel as though they didn't do as strong of a job as they could have of giving voice to the young people in the Democratic Party that excite other young people, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And there are a number of other Democratic leaders who are very exciting to young progressives that really weren't given to me the amount of time to speak as they should have been given. It is going to be interesting to see the contrast. I do not want the RNC to have large viewership, because that is what Donald Trump wants. But I do feel as though we need to watch it, because the vision they're casting for America in the next 4 years, because we have to know what both sides want to do and then what they want to provide to America. Candace says that she tried to watch, but it was so boring. Candace, if you thought the DNC was boring, my love, I want you to give just 1 hour tonight to the RNC so we can talk about if it compared and if it really was boring or not. Do you feel as though the DNC did a good job of getting people who are not Democrats on board? Because to me, I feel, or an independent, I don't know if I really care to see Michelle Obama, Elizabeth Warren, any of the people they brought out. I don't think any of them would really appeal to the majority of independent voters. I'm afraid they may not have done their due diligence in trying to get new voters on board.
So my question to that is, if not Michelle, if not Elizabeth, or whomever they have for their roster, who would be that ideal person to capture those undecided voters or those independent voters, because in my mind it just seems like, you know, you got good and evil right now. Either you for Trump or you for the opposite. So those middle people, in terms of a mainstream type of person who's sort of double dutching between the two, I don't really know if a light has been forecasted, or and that's just me from what I've seen thus far. I could be wrong. So I just want to put that question out there to you, because I realistically, I don't know anyone else that could speak to those people in that light. So I'm curious.
So, you know, one thing that B states here is that they did a good job of showing Republican crossovers, and they did, but they were all old. You have to look, when I talk about the voter that I'm worried about losing this year, I'm talking about young people. I'm talking about people ages 18 to 28. People who are 18 to 28, many of them only remember the presidency of Obama. So to them, it's not uncommon to have a black person in power. So Kamala Harris isn't a big deal to a young person because they've already had a black president. When you talk about Kasich, they don't know who Kasich is, the former governor of Ohio who ran against Donald Trump. They don't know Colin Powell, who served as Secretary of State, which was a really big deal during the George W. Bush administration. They don't know these people anyway. So to have them brought out, I don't think is really going to be an impressive point of view. But I really think bringing out someone like, an example comes to mind, is on Shark Tank. He's a world-renowned entrepreneur, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He is also an independent who is voting Democrat, who has been very vocal about his support of the Democratic Party against Donald Trump. Donald Trump sells himself as this phenomenal entrepreneur. Bringing out someone like Mark Cuban, a proven American entrepreneur, to counter that message, I believe would have been a good choice. I think they're relying more on people like Billie Eilish, whatever her name is. I don't like her music, but I agree with you. That was a smart choice because it really showed or made an effort to say this is a young person who is speaking English. We would have seen more of the activists who have emerged during the Black Lives Matter movement come to the forefront. I believe that they, even though we talked about it and we highlighted it in the DNC, I would have wanted to see more of those actual people at the forefront speaking on the mic. I think that also would have motivated a lot of young people of color to really be vigilant in this moment, and it would have set up a really good contrast with what we're going to see this week in the DNC. In the RNC for this week. And you're right, you know, it's like, again, we saw a whole lot of We Aren't Trump, and that may not have been enough. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is using against the Democrats this week in his RNC. Rodney.
I don't agree with you guys. I truly loved all of it. And I will say this many of times until we vote to November the 3rd. They could have had snails up there looking around, moving around, going slow as hell. Anybody's better than Trump. And what have Trump have done for these last 4 years? I don't care if they had Billy Goats, Ronald McDonald. They could even had Keisha Cole up there selling fish plates. I would have still voted for I'm still voting for Joe Biden. So I don't understand all the hard criticism that a lot of people are giving compared to Trump. Again, you guys, we are talking about Donald Trump, the man who has said horrendous things throughout this whole election, who had talked about veterans, army, everything. Like, I don't get it. The focus, and Candace, what I really truly loved about the DNC, it focused on America. It showed diversity in America. It focused on Black Lives Matter. If they talk about family with children and talk about healthcare, they covered so much. So my question, what do you guys want? Like, for people now, what do y'all want? Like Michelle Obama, people love her. I mean, I follow Michelle. The young people love Michelle Obama. So I don't know what you guys were looking for, but I know, as I would say, plenty of time, I'm running to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris killed her speech. So
Kamala Harris did a great job. Kamala Harris did a great job.
It's fine. I'm from Mississippi. Sue me. Either way it goes, I'm going to be voting for.
He's from Mississippi too, and he pronounced it right. So try again.
So Like I know, CJ, you said I'm having connection issues. Am I still having those issues?
No, you're doing better.
Not right now, but they go in
If
and
they
out.
go in and out, I'm gonna have to reset. I'm gonna have to and it's gonna happen all throughout. So keep me updated. So with Rodney,
wait. Let me say that I'm gonna close out and let y'all talk. But I feel like the primary focus, y'all, we are losing the primary focus of this whole election is to get rid of Trump. Can we please focus on that? Because I truly feel like that we're trying to nitpick every little thing, and I don't get what do you pick. Honestly, this for the whole people who
but
this
Democrats
for everyone who did not.
Who are going to elect? They're not the only party. You're talking and speaking from a Democratic perspective. I'm speaking from a
But it's only Democrat and Republican, so I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get what you're trying to say.
So everybody, bear with us. I'm going to go and reset. And gentlemen, I'm going to resend a link, and we're going to have to reset it because of the internet.
It's okay.
Right. We will be back in about 10 minutes.
Oh.
We got to reset. It's going to have to reset because of the internet connectivity. Nothing we can do. I got to reset my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Oh.